Brent, how goes it?
That's horrible. Please try again. It's going good.
Spoiler alert, a little bit of foreshadowing. You may hear that phrase more times than you care to during this episode. There you go.
Yeah, that's gonna be put into a clip.
But as it should be.
Yeah, it's a good morning. It's hump day.
It is. Otherwise known as Whiteboard Wednesday.
Okay, good.
There we go.
What are we going to be whiteboarding today?
So I actually, and this happens every once in a while, where I do a couple of different takes, and all of them are just shit. And I'm like, I don't have the energy. It's like not even editable down to kind of like, you know what, this might work or this one won't. So today I was going to do one on communication and just 3 different things that you can apply to help get better at communication instantly and that kind of stuff. And then I decided to go with, and it depends on whether or not I'm going to go with it, but I've got 2 recorded. The second one is around a fool with a tool is still a fool. And really, I mean, part of the story, spoiler alert, you do not want to use this tool when you are on the tee box. It is not intended to get off the tee box. Now you can.
Unless you're just trying to get your ball up to the ladies' tees.
Yeah. And you know what happens then. So
I do actually. I'm not a golfer, but I do.
Oh, yeah. Evidently you're not a golfer. Come on. That's a Big Lebowski quote.
Yes, it is.
Sometimes you just have to give the behind the scenes stuff. I'm moving a little bit slow today, and I don't know why. Everything's bright in here, and I know why that is just because I've got the lights turned up like super bright. I also realized that I have a crap load more gray hair than I thought I did. When you see the shine just kind of coming off, I'm starting to move into that Reed Richards mode. If anybody knows Reed Richards.
Yeah, wait till you got an extra 10 years on you. Then you're going to really feel it.
So let's just jump right into the news.
Well, good morning, people development people. It's Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. And if you haven't integrated an AI agent into your morning coffee routine yet, are you even in L&D? I'm your host, and this is the L&D Morning Brief, where the news is fast, the coffee is strong, and our completion rates are, well, we don't talk about that. Let's dive into our top story. Anthropic, the folks who brought you Claude, is reportedly nearing a funding deal that values the company at $350 billion. That's billion with a B. For that kind of money, I expect Claude to not only write my leadership modules, but also physically show up to the workshop and handle the difficult conversations with the middle managers who refuse to use Slack. Why does this matter to you? Because with a $350 billion valuation, Anthropic is now officially worth more than the collective hope and dreams of every instructional designer trying to explain why a 60 slide deck isn't micro-learning. If the AI is this expensive, your budget for pizza during the lunch and learn is officially dead.
And today I brought props. Have you read this book? Can you read it? Like
Technological Revolutions and Financial Capital. Yeah. Interesting.
I picked it up. Well, I've had this for a while. Andrew Savickas, he was the CEO at Safari around the time when I left, and he had recommended to me way back when, and it is not the read that you want. It's a good read for like insomnia. There are some people who really will get into this one, and one of the cool things about it, when I went and picked it back up off the bookshelf, the bookmark, like physical bookmark, is a ticket from the last hockey game that I went to see with my grandfather. We went and saw the Lightning and the Hawks play each other out in Tampa way back then. But this, if a 350, was it 350 or 380?
350 billion.
350 billion with a B valuation. Whew. I don't know, man. I think we're ready for. We might be ready for a bubble to burst. Not a concert ticket, Craig. Hockey game. Hockey game. Hockey game. Come on. When I would go to concerts, do you think I actually got tickets? I just figured out a way to work my way into Sun Devil Stadium. That's how I saw Pink Floyd. Just stuck my way in there.
Huge.
One of the best concerts I've ever been. What's the best concert you've ever been to?
Oh man, best. I can't pick a best. I've seen far too many. I don't. They're all,
Craig, do you have a best?
all good in their own way.
Best concert that you've ever been to?
I saw Van Halen back in the David Lee Roth days at Veterans Memorial Coliseum.
There you go. Did the news say anything around how that valuation was?
And
what multiple? Like, how much money did they get?
I'm checking it out right now. Please hold.
Yeah, Craig, that ticket was your old stomping grounds too. This is back when Tampa Bay Arena, before they moved to Amelie. Oh, look at this. Are you trying to, let's see, add to the scene? Trying to add something in here, Brent? Here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
So here's where the story came from. Valuation surges. Oh, come on. Let's see. The new funding would nearly double Anthropic's previous valuation and comes just months after the company raised $13 billion in a round that included the Qatar Investment Authority as a major backer.
Man. All right. Something to dig into a little bit later today. Just kind of figure out how much money, what the valuation is based on. I don't know. I wonder, like, what's the lobster take on that?
I don't know. So what is the valuation of Anthropic based on?
And what's the
50 billion?
What is the most active Molt book channel on this? Like, what are the AI agents saying to each other about this? Like, are they excited?
Yeah, who knows? It is important to clarify that the $350 billion figure is the post-money valuation, meaning it is the total estimated worth of the company after accounting for the latest capital injections. It is not the amount of a single investment, but rather the result of a massive oversubscribed funding round. Total round size. Anthropic originally sought $10 billion, but due to extraordinary investor demand, the round grew to over $20 billion.
Wow. So they got $20 billion in this round, and they just brought in $15 billion in the round just before that. Huh. I don't know. Maybe we need to get. What I'd like to do, if you're listening to this and you know a financial expert or someone who's really familiar with this kind of stuff, like how the money works in various rounds of investment and that side of things, and you'd be open to a conversation to help us out live on one of these mornings, hit me up or hit Brent up. I'd like to have a conversation with you, which I know is off of our news script, but at some point in time, the morning news people bring on guests in there, like
They do. And it should be pretty easy for us to do a real quick one, to have somebody answer questions that are legit, things that we don't even want to ask AI about. We want a legit real human to do it. So and here's the deal too. I think I failed to mention yesterday that I made some updates to our executive producer before yesterday's show. And one of the things that I asked it to do was to open its mind and think outside the box a little bit for the breaking news opening main story, and to have it be anything that could possibly be related to L&D, not just an L&D story, because stuff like this happens. That's kind of interesting. There's things going on that would be fun for us to talk about that are big news items. And the reason why I did that was after one of our shows, I remember, we got off the live stream and I checked something and a really big news story had broken. And I'm like, that would have been cool for us to talk about. How come, that didn't show up? So my hope is that this main lead story is going to be will likely be a big deal around the water cooler today as people go into the office or begin their conversations, because that's why we're here, to help you guys learn to know what the hottest things are that are going on that you need to be aware of.
Hey, Brent, for people who aren't as old as you, what's a water cooler?
Oh, yeah. So it's that place you go when you're in your cubicle farm office to go fill a little glass of water to stay hydrated during the day while you're being sucked dry of your soul.
What's a cubicle?
I have a photo.
Oh, okay, here we go.
I have a cubicle photo.
When's the last time you were in a cubicle, like where you actually were working out of a cubicle and had to like pin up some of the, it wouldn't even be thumbtacks because the tacks wouldn't work anymore. You had to put one of those like fabric needles into
yeah. When I was working at IO data centers, I had a cubicle back then.
So one of my favorite things about Intel, and I didn't work at Intel. I was never a blue badge or even a green badge. I'd wanted to get a green badge at some point as someone who is outside of Intel but could be badged in. When you try to figure out where people are, it was like a parking lot, and they'd be like, "I'm at like pole C A or whatever." You'd go to the pole and figure out where they are inside the cubicle farm, because there were cubicles all over the place. And then to kind of break things up, they put little office structures like in between. So spent a lot of time at in Chandler, Ocotillo, Jones Farm, Hillsboro. Anyway, back in the day.
Back in the day.
And back then, and this is part of what I talked about in the whiteboard video, I would go and whiteboard with clients in person. Like you go out there and you've got a whiteboard and you actually get to build together in that kind of environment, not sitting across a desk or a table from each other, but getting up there and moving, add to the scene. I am working on it. Oh, there we go. There we go. For those of you who have not seen the movie Office Space, please do yourself a favor and go out and watch it. Craig, Wendy, did you and Brent, did you guys go and watch Dial of Destiny?
Oh, I did not know.
Okay. We've got an accountability problem.
Well, I have a time problem. So, there just isn't a whole lot of time to sit down and just randomly watch movies all day. You must have a heck of a lot more time on your hands than the rest of us.
Yeah. 24 hours.
Story number 2, tech and innovation. Palo Alto Networks just closed its acquisition of CyberArk. They're calling it identity security for the AI era. In L&D terms, this is huge. Why? Because as we move to agentic learning, where AI agents learn for us, we need to know if it's actually you taking that unconscious bias training, or if it's just your AI bot pretending to be a better person than you are. We've reached the point where the LMS needs to perform a retinal scan just to make sure a robot isn't the one getting certified in active listening.
You know what? If I'm outsourcing this stuff to the robot, don't I want the robot to be certified?
Yeah.
I mean,
because it's supposed to be you being certified. So
yeah, but don't tell me how to operate my business of me. If I'm going to have my agents doing all of the work, I need my agents to be certified and compliant. I mean, come on.
So what you're saying is we need to train our agents, and they need to be certified in order to be compliant to even take our tests for us.
Duh.
Because I'm not just going to let the AI go out there and just start taking my tests if it's not certified. So, look, we're going to have
that would be reckless.
That would be so reckless, So this is why instructional designers will never be able to be replaced, because we're always going to have to be creating training, even for the agents.
Yes.
Said with tongue firmly planted in cheek. Any other commentary from the peanut gallery on that one? It feels like we've talked about that story before. I don't know why Palo Alto Networks would bring it up. I wonder who, if I were to go back and look at where they found the story last time, where the reference came from, if it's the same one or if it's different. I don't know. Moving on to human capital and culture. The EU AI Act requires official, and we talked about this yesterday too. Am I on the wrong news day? What? No, it said February 11th, so we're good.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
It's not a movie, but hey, I'll take it.
Yep.
The EU AI Act requirements officially kicked in this month. Specifically, AI literacy is now a legal requirement for many. Gone are the days when I don't get tech was a valid excuse from the C-suite. Now, if your employees can't tell the difference between a deep fake and their actual boss, you're not just failing at training, you're failing at compliance. It's a great time to be an L&D pro. Your job just went from helping people grow to keeping the company out of European court. Talk about job security.
I'm kind of wondering if the agent is Catholic, because I'm feeling a lot of guilt, like deep seated, going back into my youth. I feel like
why? Let's dig deeper into that, Mike. Why are you feeling guilty right now?
Born and raised, so it's all these if then, like if you're not, then here you go. Again, the design stuff is really interesting. I got to figure out how I can incorporate it into my video content. And Craig, no, I am not going to script.
You're not going to strip?
Script. Yeah, script. Not going to do the other one either. Craig's been trying to get me to script stuff out for years.
Oh, Wendy, great idea. I will do that. I will copy and paste those instructions for you. You know what? I did watch Almost Famous. Thank you very much. I didn't recently. Once I looked it up after we talked about it and read the description, I have seen it. It's just been a super long time and I don't know it well enough to have memorized the quotes. So I need to go back in and I definitely need to give it a rewatch. But anyways, squirrel. Let me just add something there. I do think maybe it was brought up that AI, I'm glad AI brought it up because not everybody, for us, it might be kind of boring to repeat stories like this. But I think for the format and for what we're trying to do to help people,
Yeah.
I do understand the value of repetition because not everybody's going to be able to watch every single day and to continue sort of a thread of a storyline while it stays important to those people working in the industry. I think it's good to readdress them, especially too because sometimes we leave and I think of things that I should have said, and it gives me an opportunity to come back the next time and cover it. So, for whatever that's worth, I think it's good. I think it's good because it's important, and the AI comes up with funny, different things to say each time too. So there is a little variety. Let's talk industry specifics. The FDA just launched the pre-check pilot program for pharmaceutical manufacturing. They want to fast track the construction and assessment of new facilities. L&D teams in the life sciences space, listen up. This means your facility readiness training needs to be ready yesterday. You're no longer training for a factory that will open in 3 years. You're training for a factory that's being 3D printed as we speak. If your onboarding doesn't include a VR walkthrough of a building that doesn't exist yet, you're behind the curve. Okay, so this one's really cool and interesting, just for the mere fact that I've actually done that before. It was one of the first projects I did at Intel back in 1996. We built VR replications of the warehouse and the warehouse software processes before the new warehouses were built. And
They had
we
computers
gave
in 1996.
it was in 1996.
Wow.
So
How big it was? Did you use VR glasses, like, or was it all just on the machine and you're just kind of doing virtual walkthrough kind of thing?
Yeah, so we ended up calling it immersive 3D. But really what it ended up just looking like was like playing a video game, playing like it was like a first person shooter, except instead of holding a gun, you held a scanner and you scanned barcodes and moved boxes, and stuff like that. But it was super cool. It was, we used a software called Superscape. It ran on DOS, even though Windows had been out for a while. You had to launch it from your DOS prompt.
Go to a command prompt. Oh, shit.
Yeah, but it was awesome.
That was different than the command button on your Mac keyboard.
Oh yeah, command line interface is something that most people probably will never have to go through and look at again. C:\\, baby.
That's why one of the I think one of the best Super Bowl commercials was that, I think it was Xfinity, where basically what they did is they kind of reshot parts of Jurassic Park. Did you see this?
Oh yeah.
It was basically for like a $19 a month subscription. They could have solved for all those problems and turned it into an amazing theme park attraction. And I did like when you watch those movies and you see the workstations that people are operating behind. It's funny to think that like that technology was, oh wow, did you see all of this and how they're navigating and working their way through the system back then? And today people are like, holy crap, you mean the monitor was not just width and height but depth? Like
old CRT is running a Linux box.
Cathode ray tube for the
there you go. Yeah. So speaking of behind the scenes and being weirded out by it, I once did, this was a long time ago, so I'm sure they've updated it, but I did a contracting gig at eBay. And I remember going into the fraud department, and it consisted of 2 workstations and 2 teenage girls that looked like they just rolled out of the post-punk era, and they each had like 4 monitors up, and that was it. They monitored red flags. When the system would red flag something, they were the ones that had to deal with it. And I remember just standing there thinking to myself, there's millions and millions of dollars in transactions going through this. A huge portion of them are probably fake and bullshit, and people laundering money and whatnot. And these are the 2 people that are have been placed in the position of authority to manage whether or not something is a risk or fraudulent or not.
The on the positive note, with use of the words shooter and fraud and laundering, we are now going to be monitored. We're going to increase our viewership because the FBI will now be monitoring us.
Well, welcome. Welcome, Patel Cash. How's it going, man?
Hey, Wendy's got a note in here. Are you? Yeah, is this thing on? Are you?
Hello? Are you watching? Hello?
Brent, are you a contractor?
Well, yeah. Why?
So Wendy is asking. She just said, "Hey, are you still are you a contractor now?"
Yes, I am. Always, actually. I've never stopped being one. Even when I had full-time jobs, I always did contract work on the side.
Yeah, it's a good way. It's a good way to get. It's kind of interesting. The so many people get into this whole thing about like gig work or gig economy or fractional or contract or consulting or whatever. I mean, it's part of. It's always been a thing that's out there. It's just now more people who aren't aware of it as a capability are now becoming aware of it, and there's no reason for you to struggle with some of the challenges that you're working through inside your business. You can always go out and find somebody who's overcome that thing, and that's where working with contractors and people who have a lot of experience and access to different operating environments can be super interesting.
Indeed.
What type of contract work do you do?
L&D work, but I also do this live streaming and community building thing too. So lots of stuff. I don't have my elevator pitch down, so.
Well, you don't need it. I mean, it's just like, hey, what problems do you solve? But Brett's like, why the hell are we going to turn this into?
Are we going to go?
Like, you really need to do this right now.
I know.
I do. What kind of problems do you solve?
In our authoring tool update.
Wow. All right, moving on.
Yeah, we could talk about it later. Okay. Now I don't even know where I am.
Yeah. So on the can't have jobs that compete, the rules and that kind of stuff. Wendy, when we launched Catalyst, I had to quit my W-2 because one of the companies we were working with was too close to the company that I was currently at, and I couldn't in good conscience work with both of those companies. So it just became a decision. I think a lot of that really turns on your side. Like, how do you navigate it and be really careful about what the expectations are on both sides?
Yeah, that's all I've ever done too. I mean, I've never done the side work that I've done was never for a company that was in the same market or anywhere near the same work as whatever my full-time gig was at the time. Yeah, no, that's the nice thing about L&D is that every company needs it, every industry needs it, so it's easy to, I don't know, maybe you're working in finance and you get a gig building a a short cybersecurity e-learning course for a company in pharma.
Yeah.
I don't know. Work on it on the weekends, at nights, crank it out. And you got another portfolio piece. So it's all good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. The camera says a wide shot of host gesturing wildly. Not sure what gesturing wildly looks like, but maybe that's it. I don't know. And finally, the authoring tool update. Articulate 360 and Adobe Captivate have gone full Skynet. Articulate just dropped an AI-powered course on outline builder and generative text-to-image features directly in the suite.
Oh, that's cool.
What's that?
I said, that's cool.
It is cool. Meanwhile, Synthesia has expanded its AI avatars to over 120 languages with interactive SCORM exports. You can now create a video of a fake person speaking a language you don't know, teaching a topic you just Googled, and track it in your LMS. We are truly living in the future, people, or at least a very high resolution simulation of it.
I feel compelled to share. Again, there are people who have seen a bus. There are people who have ridden on a bus. There are people who have even driven buses. Some people build buses and some people fix buses. They are not the same. And just because you can Google that shit does not make you an expert.
Yes, but
you did stay in a Holiday Inn
world,
Express.
you don't have to be an expert. You just have to. This is what the ADDIE model is all about. You do the proper assessment and you do the proper instructional design work. You talk to the experts. You're an expert in instruction. You are not the expert in the topic.
Is this why they say those who can't do teach?
No, I don't know what you mean by that. I actually thought this script was hilarious. I thought this was very well written, very nicely done, Gemini. You get to stay another day.
Look at that.
You can now create a video of a fake person speaking a language you don't know, teaching a topic you just Googled, and track it in your LMS. And the reality is,
when you're doing the tracking, is that like SCORM or AICC or?
No, that's what it said, because the sentence just before that was Synthesia has expanded its AI avatars to over 120 languages with interactive SCORM.
Oh, there we go.
Exports.
Perfect.
Yep. I'm sure they got the crap beat out of them for not exporting to SCORM. It's like when I was at DevLearn and there was a brand new company there with an authoring tool, Kiro, I think it was. And I said, so do you guys export to SCORM? And he's like, what's SCORM? And I'm like, that's something you better, in this crowd, that's something you better learn, what it is before you start talking to these folks.
Craig added a comment in the Slack. He's like, this is why you work with an SME. No, you don't have to work with an SME anymore. That's the beauty of all of this, Craig. What part of that are you not getting?
The SMEs are all AI. And this is funny too, because the AI is saying teaching a topic you just Googled. The AI didn't even realize that, you can teach a topic using AI. It should have said teaching a topic you just asked me about.
But your AI is a Google-based AI, right? Like we're talking about Gemini. They're gonna.
No. But Gemini seems saying you Googled something. It sounds very old school. Nobody Googles anything anymore. You AI it, or you ask your AI platform of choice. Do you search Google for anything anymore?
You look it up in a dictionary. Come on.
Right? That Encyclopedia Britannica is just not collecting dust. It's usable. Get over there. Pick that book up off the shelf. L through N is a good sized book. Was that the last one? Yep, that was it. That was the last story of the day. Should we talk cutting room floor?
Hold on. What was the industry specific one? The manufacturing one?
The pharmaceutical.
Oh, pharma. Okay.
Yeah, but it was kind of a mix. So pharma was building buildings. let's see here. Industry specifics. The FDA just launched the pre-check pilot program for pharmaceutical manufacturing. So it's kind of a cross. Yeah. This means your facility readiness training needs to be ready yesterday. That was the VR thing I was talking about. If your onboarding doesn't include a VR walkthrough of a building that doesn't exist yet, you're behind the curve.
I think with all the machines talking to the machines, we really have to certify the machines.
Well, somebody should. I will say, though, again, just to reiterate, I was exceptionally disappointed that virtual reality didn't take off and do this exact thing. Like when people talk about building effective learning and what is, and solving a business problem,
Yeah.
hands down, the most effective, best learning product I ever built was that training, and have not done any VR training since. And it's not because it's super expensive, because if you think about how much money was saved, because people learned so much faster. We took like 2 weeks, 3 weeks worth of training and boiled it down to a couple hours. So I don't know. There's a lot to it, I suppose, but there's no reason why you can't train your factory workers in a virtual environment, in a digital twin, before they even go into the factory that's being built. There's no reason why you can't. So for whatever that's worth, I mean, people, they learn better, they learn faster, and you can do it, and they can be job ready as you cut the ribbon for the new building and employees go in to start working. They can be ready to rock and roll. So if anybody wants to know how, reach out. I'd love to do another one of those projects. But there you have it. That's the brief for today. Remember, if your AI doesn't know it's a Wednesday, give it some grace. It's probably still processing that $350 billion check. There you go.
But it wasn't a $350 billion check.
No, it's just a valuation.
Yeah. So
even AI doesn't understand the finance.
Yeah. Come on. Wendy, good comment in the Slack. So on LinkedIn, came across a post of a news article someone posted almost exactly as we covered it in the news, and they did a blog or white paper on it.
Which thing? Which?
Yeah, Wendy, if you've got a link, drop it in the Slack channel.
No, I mean, which?
It'd be kind of cool to see it.
Yeah, which one did it? Which one are you talking? Which story that we just covered today are you talking about?
I think one of them. Well, I mean, obviously one of them, but I don't know that. I don't know that she. I think we've got to see the link. So let's see where that goes. But I think there's a. When's the last time, Brent, that you've been to a theme park?
It's been a long time.
Been a while. Okay. So we talked about our experience when we saw Ready Player One.
Yes.
And how horrible that experience was.
In
like
4D.
Best intentions. A crap load of technology stuffed into it. And it didn't create the experience that you're looking for. Like you're like, I just want to watch a movie. I don't need to see it in, I think they were marketing it as 4D.
Yeah.
Now there are things that you can do though. One of my favorite rides is Soarin'. Have you ever been on Soarin'? They'll have it at they have it in Epcot in Disney World, and they have it in California Adventure in Disneyland or in Anaheim. And one of the cool things that happens, you feel like you're hang gliding or gliding through scenes.
It's one of those.
And
okay.
What they'll do is they'll do some really cool things. They'll speed up the rate that the video is coming at you to pass on the impression that you're moving faster, and then they'll tilt you. And there's just these different things where your your senses, your sensation will make you feel like you're immersed in that kind of environment. And you can do that in an environment where um, where you integrate the combination of
Yeah.
both visual, smell, so what you see, what you smell, what you feel, wind, water being kind of splashed at you. And when you create this environment, you can help people get into a situation before they've actually been in that situation, which
Mhm.
is kind of like this whole thing that we're talking about, being able to work through the VR of, hey, let's be, or the first person shooter perspective of being able to walk through the building and kind of see the building before the building exists and
Yeah,
persists.
even if you have just the digital twin, like let's say you don't even make it
Yeah, right.
interactive,
Yeah,
just give the employees the ability to walk through and to visualize what it's going to be like when they get in there. Because one of the things that we were fighting against when I first did the VR stuff was was wearing the bunny suits. Like we couldn't people that were brand new to semiconductor manufacturing, you couldn't teach them anything because it took them like we were trying to do training in the early days with trainees who were just putting on a bunny suit for the first time.
mm,
Some of them freaked out and had to leave the clean room, because they just couldn't handle it. But I mean, others were just so uncomfortable in it that they weren't learning. They were barely half listening to what you were saying.
yeah.
So to be able to teach them the processes and what they would be doing in the environment before they actually get into the environment gives them that ability to just relax for the very first time when they're in the bunny suit,
Yeah.
and to be able to just get comfortable in that because they've already learned what they're going to be doing in there.
You've been there before, right? You
Yeah.
feel like you've been there before,
Yep.
right? That sensation, not the first time, but yeah, that's why there are um, there are there are certain things where I never want to see the preview of it. Like, will there be like a preview version of a ride at a theme park, as an example, or they'll do movie trailer. They'll do a movie trailer of a movie that's getting ready to come out. There are a number of those where I just don't want to have any preconceived notions or expectations going in. And then at the other side, there's a lot of instances where I need to have that so you're not shocked by it, right? Like there's as much as you might be able to with VR create an experience where you see where you're speaking and you're looking out at a crowd and you hear the background noise of what that's like, and it still isn't going to be the same experience and same energy of 500 people, all their eyes like pointed right at you while you're going in and you're thinking, please don't walk off the stage. Like, don't step off. Don't get too close to the edge and fall. Like that kind of
Don't-
stuff. So Debbie Richards, a friend of the program, we saw her out in DevLearn. She did an article on the AI enabled learning architect, designing the future of L&D with artificial intelligence. So this is the one that and this was where we had gotten into that conversation around like the architect, the engineer, the builder, and some of that other kind of
Yeah.
stuff. We've talked about that kind of stuff before. So good to see more people in this space. You're looking at it and saying, "Hey, how can we be thinking differently about the role? What is the specific job to be done of this role in this perspective?" So good,
Yeah,
Wendy. Thanks for
and
sharing that.
content debt is a real thing. So I think what she's talking about, particularly here, outcome over output. Yes. So she's talking about, needing to focus on performance, right? And how do we track performance? Like, what's the metric that we're going to be using to track the performance? When I think of content debt, though, I think of all of the content that's already inside of all of our systems that contains the knowledge supposedly that everybody needs to do their jobs and to function effectively and whatnot. That's the debt. It's the thousands of courses that the company has bought over the years and shoved into their LMS, and it's just collecting digital dust. That's the AI struggle currently.
So I've got a slightly different perspective on it. Have you ever done any work on like long tail of content usage?
Yo, yeah, but yeah, the long tail was a concept brought up back in the early 2000s, when the internet first became a thing and people could share anything. That's awesome, Wendy. Yeah, it's a great article, by the way. Everybody should go out there and read what Debbie's talking about. Debbie's spot on. There's a lot of different ways to look at a lot of different things. So it's yes and.
Yeah. So like one of the big things we would run into. So one of the companies I worked for back before starting Catalyst was O'Reilly Media, specifically with the Safari Books Online product.
And when I started there,
what's that?
The animal books.
Yeah, that was the. So imagine working for a company called Safari in 2008.
Yeah.
And think about what was happening around different periods of time around that. It was a couple of years earlier than that. The company I was at before that was Skillsoft, which was SmartForce before that, and we had Books 24/7, a competing product. But when people said Safari back then, there were two things you would think about. You would think of going out to Africa and going on a safari, or you think of the Apple browser. Like that was it. And then when you talk about books, it'd be like, oh, animal books, cool. And then our books actually had animals on the covers. So, but it wasn't about animals. It was Tim O'Reilly, thought leader on Web 2.0 and wisdom of crowds and collective intelligence and the power of what can happen when you bring a group of people together or continue to increase the amount of information that's available to people, what they're actually going to be able to do with it. So when you get into the long tail stuff, one of the challenges that we would run into is people are like, okay, well, you've got 15,000 books. Well, what if my team only needs 10 of those? Like, what about all the books? And what you would see in the data is the impact of the long tail, the access to all of that information. Now it's already been curated, reviewed because it's been published and whatnot, but there's value in the long tail because of the thing that I know Craig is just super excited about. And whenever someone says learning styles, I think of Craig. Like it just gets me going. That people will hear things differently depending on the environment that they're in, or read things differently depending on the environment that they're in. So providing that long tail access can be super helpful if it actually adapts to the learner and can get the content into the hands of the person at the right time in the right place to do the thing. And we had this stuff, they were called SOMLing, self-organizing maps. And basically what you would do is if you were in a page, it would recommend other resources to you in other book content.
Oh, cool.
So that like early day type stuff around how do you enable the human to perform, because training is an event, learning is a process, technology is used to enable both of those, and performance improvement, performance impact is the ultimate goal. The thing that drives me nuts is when people get so hung up on this is how you've got to do it. No, you actually have to do everything with a whiteboard. No, you don't. I like to do things with a whiteboard. You have to read. No, you don't. You can listen to it. You have to do video that has really short edits and quick cuts and all of these other things because people lose their time. No, you don't. Find the people who give a shit about the thing that you're doing and they will get past some of the video issues as long as the audio is good. I mean, that's one of the things I've learned over time from folks like you and folks like Craig and folks like others. It's there's a value in having really, really good audio. And it sucks when you have bad audio. It's hard to overcome that. But even in that instance, you can still get past it. One of these days, I think we need to get into some of the stuff, because there maybe prompt the news tomorrow. Prompt the news tomorrow, and I'll make a note about this. Prompt the news tomorrow to see if it can find any specific instances where AI audio compared to human audio and the impact on recognition for the human on the other side. Like, what happens? Like, is knowledge transfer, learning, recall when information is conveyed via human versus being conveyed by AI?
My guess is it's going to say
it's
going to use old research. But
I'm not into your guesses or any of that other kind of stuff. I just asked you to prompt the thing. Prompt the thing.
What prompt would you like me to write, Mike?
Well, I don't know. I go to my resident prompt expert who's sighing in the background. Yes, I still see your comments, Craig.
Craig, how would you prompt this particular request? What would be an adequate prompt to give Mike what he needs?
Or wants. Either one. Anyhow, I think there's some interesting stuff.
We still need to do the cutting room floor.
Okay. At some point, you guys are just going to cut me.
And we still need to tell people about next Wednesday, because it's getting closer and closer and closer. And if you look.
Yeah, we've got to work on your mirroring.
Oh,
I think so. What I think we need to do is, I think
you're not able to flip my camera around.
Well, you can, and you should be able to. But what I think you should do is keep your camera the same way, so that it mirrors, but have Gemini mirror that image. So we're going to do like a deep fake double mirror on.
Whoa!
Yeah. Mind blown. Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, Gemini and Microsoft.
Is Craig going all Britney Spears? He's like, say it one more time.
He wants to know what you're asking for. He's looking for clarity.
I'll send you a text.
Write it all down. Yeah. But Capgemini and Microsoft partner for Sovereign Cloud. Huge for global L&D data privacy, but a bit dry for the morning show. OIG Medicare Advance Guidance, crucial for healthcare compliance L&D, but too niche for a general brief. H-2B visa doubling, massive for retail seasonal training needs, but overshadowed by AI news. DEI executive order injunction vacated, vital for HR compliance, but we wanted to keep the energy high and funny today. Amazon cutting 14,000 corporate roles, important for the skills first transition conversation, but a bit of a downer. Unleash America 2026 sessions announced. Great for networking, but not breaking news yet. LSE migrates to user-first HR platform, a solid case study in digital transformation, but lacked the wow factor of $350 billion. iSpring Suite AI text-to-speech update. Great tool update, but Story 5 already covered the big authoring giants. Pinterest fires engineers over layoff tracker, a cautionary tale for internal training on data privacy. U.S. debt of ed flexibility funding, interesting for K-12 workforce strategy, but less relevant to corporate L&D.
I think we have a show first.
Think what?
We have a show first. We actually got a chat comment in through the YouTube stream.
Oh, hey, look at that.
So there we go. Thank you.
Hello, person in the YouTube stream. Thanks for joining us.
Anything on the cutting room floor grab your interest?
Thought it was interesting to hear about Pinterest firing engineers over the layoff tracker. And then it says a cautionary tale for internal training on data privacy. Yeah, might want to look into that. iSpring Suite AI text to speech update. iSpring's been doing a lot of interesting stuff lately. They've gotten really big over the years. They've grown a lot. Amazon cutting 14,000 corporate roles. Important for the skills first transition conversation, but a bit of a downer. Yeah, but it's interesting.
Did it say what roles?
I'm checking it out right now.
While you do that, just a reminder, next week on Wednesday, we are going to run our first hackathon. Our plan is to make this a monthly thing that will all be driven based on feedback. And I think we're kind of in between monthly or quarterly, or maybe even twice a quarter. So once every 6 weeks kind of thing. This first one, Craig and Wendy are going to join us using their AI tool of choice, their LLM of choice. We're looking for a couple of other folks to join us to bring another tool to the discussion. And even if we only have 2 tools, we will still run this thing forward. I might challenge Brent to bring a tool, and I'll bring a tool, but we'll see how things go. I know that there are people out there who've experienced though, and are open to sharing it and working through this process with us. So if you know somebody who is playing around with this stuff, using it to help improve work performance, willing to put a test out there to help us understand and see different ways that we can use these tools to get better at the work that we're doing, please point them in our direction.
Yeah, you can't play along because you're producing. So you got to be pushing buttons and changing stuff around. And probably either can I. But if push comes to shove, I'll jump in and be the Gemini person. But we should be able to find somebody.
Are you saying that I can't multitask?
Yes.
Or what if I have a Restream agent multitask on my behalf?
You don't need to be. It's just for the first time around. Let's try not to overwhelm ourselves. And also for anybody out there, and this includes Wendy and Craig, if you have any specific ideas or thoughts on the different types of challenge or challenges.
Nope. I'm actually gonna put an end to that and say no. We're not looking for ideas on challenges.
Why not?
Because I want everybody to be surprised by the challenge.
Well, it's not like we're going to tell everybody which one we pick, and we don't even have to pick one. It could just help us come up with an idea. And what are you thinking?
I'm not going to share. I asked somebody yesterday if she wanted, because I know that she uses Perplexity a lot, and she came back and she said, "What's the challenge?" And I said, "I'm not telling anybody. We're not telling anybody. We want you to find out the challenge there in real time." No prep.
I've just been telling people, listen, it's going to be something like, we're either going to this is the way I've been thinking about it. We either do a bunch of small challenges, just kind of ease people into it, or maybe we start with one easy challenge. And maybe what we do is we say, hey, everybody use your tool and create, do the caricature thing with the image version of your tool. And we'll get a good yuck out of that, kind of get people warmed up, and get some funny images and whatnot. And then we step into something a little bit more complicated and be, okay, now what we're going to do is build a course for cybersecurity for onboarding. Go. I don't know. So
it sounds like you do know,
but I don't know the details. I'm just kind of visualizing how it should probably go. We just start with something really easy, ease people into it. Or maybe what we do is we come up with something that we know AI struggles with, and text wise, with coming back with correct answers. And we we just ask a simple question, say, ask your particular platform this question. And we just see what all the different responses are that comes back, just to kind of, get the ball rolling.
Welcome to the typical conversations between Brent and Mike. We're going to have an AI icebreaker to start the whole thing.
There you go.
AI icebreaker in the hackathon.
I didn't think about that. But anyways, yeah, I pasted the HR grapevine thing in there. Actually, the story is pretty good. It talks more about, I forget I clicked on the source for the Amazon cutting 14,000 corporate roles.
Yeah.
The article is actually better than just that. And it just talks, they're referencing companies that may be lying about whether or not it's AI that's causing their people to leave or not, and stuff like that. So I'd be curious to go through and read that, or if anybody else is, it'll be fun. But anyways, we are over time.
We are over time. That means we get paid time and a half for this one. So there you go.
There we go.
Brent, where can people find you?
Everybody find us on LinkedIn. This is the best place to find anything and everything about everything we're doing. And where can people find their catalog?
Go out and register for the event next week for Wednesday. Share it with other people that you know. Spread the word on this thing. Let's bring a good group of people together. And my commitment to you, you will learn something. It will be fun, and you will have something practical that you can apply as a result. You will learn, you will think, you will act, and we will help you move forward. Brent, we'll see you on. We'll see you tomorrow. I've lost a day this week. I thought today was Thursday. Today is actually Wednesday. Brent, I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.